welcome back to my YouTube. It's your girl Honey. Today we're talking about how to attract the Gemini man. What's mad is I haven't completed this series, which is so annoying because I think I've got like Virgo left to do, but I initially started this series in around a year ago and I've not finished it. So I thought I'd just get this series out the way as well so I can start finishing up on other series. So anyway, check out my How to Attract series. It's got all the signs in there. How to attract the Gemini man. This is going to be strictly based on sun sign anyway, but obviously the whole chart plays a factor into that individual. Okay, so please bear that in mind. Gemini is the co-ruler of Mercury. Mercury is the planet of communication, how you process information, your physical mannerisms when speaking to people. Gemini is home to the third house. The third house rules siblings, cousins, communicating, early years in school, education, writing. It's a very important house in regards to skills and talents. Gemini people are notorious for being amazing writers. Okay, very good at communicating, rhyming. These people are the fucking rappers, in my opinion, all right? They are very good at putting their words into a very smart way. And I'm a Mercury Taurus person, so I'm not good at that shit at all. So I envy Mercury Gemini people, period. Very, very good at writing. How to attract these guys? First of all, Gemini is an air sign, okay? Matching elements, Libra, Aquarius, we know, but Gemini goes particularly well with its opposite sign, Sagittarius. Sagittarius has a lot of similarities to Gemini. Gemini can also be seen as the student and the teacher because Gemini is constantly learning multiple things, whereas Sagittarius is more so the teacher. And why they go so good together is because Gemini loves to learn and to teach, right? Sagittarius more so likes to teach, but likes to pick up different ideas from different places, exploring different things. So they tend to work really well together. One thing you guys need to know about this guy, right? You need to be someone who is okay keeping your individuality. In other words, you cannot be someone who pressures this man into doing anything, especially when it comes to attention. He needs to be free to do what he wants. Allow him to come to you. Because if you're going to keep going to him, where are you? Who are you with? What are you doing? Can I see you? Blah, blah, blah. This is too heavy. He's an air sign. He needs to be light, on his tiptoes, doing all types of shit, being busy. He likes variation. He loves learning. And most of all, he loves the mental stimulation. You have to be someone who is able to teach him new things and show him different sides of you. In other words, like, you may have a massive interest for plumbing. You may be someone who likes to do plumbing, fixing sinks, taps. I don't know, just an example that came to my head immediately. I don't know why, but you may start talking to him about that and he will be very interested. He shows an interest in your interest, but that can't be the only thing you are about. Like some people, like, oh my God, there was this program I was watching the other day and this girl was basically trying to date different guys and all her conversation was in regards to her job, which is sport. She's an athlete. That's all she can talk about. It was fucking boring. I'm a Gemini rising, so I get bored easily too. I'm an Aries sun, Gemini rising. I get bored quickly, which is what happens with Gemini men. They get bored so fucking quickly. You have to stimulate them mentally, physically, and in some cases emotionally, because Gemini is not seen as the most emotional sign. When it comes to their emotions, right, how they process things is because they're Mercury ruled, they process their emotions more so by thinking. So instead of crying to you 24/7 and saying, I'm so sad and I'm so this, they're gonna be expressing to you,
wow, this happened to me today. I'm feeling very frustrated right now.
I think Rachel's beautiful because she's got good brains. I am the one, the way your son don't need a gun to get
Gemini energy, right? We can all argue about this, but the astrology community will say Gemini is not the most looked at sign that's like faithful. However, the Gemini men that I know, they're very faithful.
Oh, damn!
They're married. They've made mass amounts of commitment to keep their relationships going. These men, because they need the variation, in order for you to be picked by this man, right, you have to ensure that you are able to show different personality traits to yourself. You've got to be 10 different people in order to keep him stimulated. 10 different people. Because he gets that easily bored. I know, it's fucking crazy. Because this man's a Gemini, right? He values communication like nobody. And when you're getting to know him, you've got to be an open book. But you've got to be a tactful open book. You never say too much. You always say just about enough. Because you've got to save some for a later date, for another time. You can't express too much too soon. You also have to realize that this conversation will be brought back up at a later stage, because if the conversation is going well, you're going to talk about one thing, then move on to the other, because Gemini people tend to like to talk a lot. And it does vary from person to person, and obviously your Mercury, right? But they like to talk a lot. If it's not talking a lot, it's valuing the communication that they're getting out of you. So you have to be someone who has a lot to say. You've got to be someone who is okay with him having a very active social life. He's not going to be the person who sits home all day eating Cheetos, doing nothing. He's a Gemini. He likes to socialize. He likes to talk to people. And also, we all keep on hearing that Gemini people are very, very flirty. Let's just clarify things a little bit, right? Gemini people can be seen as being flirty because they value communication with everybody. You cannot be that girlfriend who goes to your Gemini man and says,
"Oh my God, who was you chatting to? What's that bitch's name?" Da-da-da.
You can't be clingy, because he's not recognizing him talking to all these bitches being flirty. He sees it as him just being friendly, because Gemini energy is friendly as hell. They love talking to people. They love gaining knowledge, information from other people. They love storing it because they are constantly the student. They love learning. So you've got to be that girl who's okay with him chatting to whoever he wants to chat to, because being a Gemini, you are by nature a free fucking spirit. Free spirit. You can't be tied down and held on tight by anybody. And if you are, you're not happy. You've definitely got to be this guy's friend, right? Just for a little bit, you know. I would not be that girl who waits months and months and months before deciding to go out on a date with him, because again, he will get bored. He needs to see you. He needs to have the mental stimulation from you face to face. He wants to see you, smell you, touch you. However, you have to, again, you've got to be very tactful. Like, you've got to be so tactful, because these guys are so good at communicating. They're very good at manipulating as well. You have to learn to manipulate them in a way in which it benefits you, but not to hurt them. So when you're trying to meet this person, these guys, you have to ensure that it's at the right time. Not too early, not too late. Because again, if you're going to wait too long, he will get bored and he will move on to the next bitch. Because there's always somebody else waiting for that Gemini man, because he likes variation. He likes different women. Doesn't mean that you can't be faithful, but if you're not delivering the variation of personalities that he needs to feel mentally stimulated, somebody else will. That's my video on how to attract a Gemini man. I hope you guys have thoroughly enjoyed it. Please check out my How to Attract Through the Signs series. Peace, people. See you later.